How one Southern Kentucky community is using art therapy to help those in recovery from addiction. And the case of a mistaken address makes a mess of things for one Kentucky landlord.
And tracking some rumblers through the region right now and potentially later before a nice weekend heads our way. The very latest next is First at 4. Continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
We are continuing to monitor the skies for the possibility of severe weather or heavy rain through the overnight hours. Some of our western counties are getting a pretty good soaker right now. First Alert meteorologist Evan Hatter has more on what to expect. Evan?
That's right, Steve. A lot of what we're seeing out there, just garden variety at the moment, though we do still have that severe weather risk as we head through tonight. I don't think it's a huge threat. You see, a lot of us are still in that level 2 slight risk for severe weather. High winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Some localized high water issues still possible. Tornado threat very low off to the west. The hail threat rather low. And again, any storm we see has the possibility for winds gusting 60 miles an hour or better. The issue, we don't have any, at least a lot of storms in place right now. Here's the view from our hazard studios. Upper 70s out there right now, even with the cloud cover. There's Somerset where it is soggy right now. Mid 70s there where they've had plenty of rain. Pinpoint Doppler is mostly dry for most of us, but notice as we head into the Cumberland Valley, it's a loud one out there right now, especially as you head into portions right down US 27 as you're leaving Pulaski County and going right through McCreary County. Stearns, Whitley City, Pine not getting a good soaker right now. It's a loud one too. Let's actually take a measurement of how many lightning strikes we're seeing. Well over 200 at this point just in the last 15 minutes or so. So it is a very electrical set of storms, but they aren't severe. Winds gusting maybe 20 to 30 miles per hour with these garden varieties so far, but they'll be moving towards places like Corbin and Williamsburg in the I-75 corridor over the next 15 to 30 minutes or so. They're actually moving pretty fast. The other reason we still have that risk in place, these storms going up west of Indianapolis, where a severe thunderstorm watch already in effect up there. We'll see what these have to say about that severe weather threat a little bit later on. Your forecast for the next 12 hours, though, temperature slowly falling to near 70 as the fog moves in overnight. Details on that and when much nicer conditions work in for the weekend in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Art is being used in Southern Kentucky to help people overcome their addictions. The Sky Hope Recovery Center in Somerset recently received a new grant to further that endeavor. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to those in the program who say art is giving them a new direction in life.
Deep in eastern Pulaski County, there is a house where former jail inmates, drug addicts are working to put their lives back together, quite literally drawing, designing, making things, using art to help them in a variety of different ways.
It took me 10 months to complete.
Rhonda Campbell is among them. She's from Hazard and used to be in jail. Says she's recovering from being addicted to drugs. She says art through Sky Hope Recovery Center is giving her a new sense of purpose. The program is using art and nature to help women. From the wool of sheep to pottery, weaving, drawing, and all kinds of other art, women in recovery are coming here to make things and to participate in community.
Art has been the biggest part of my recovery. If I didn't have my artwork, I probably would have just went back to the same thing. You know, as a human being, everybody's looking for that sense of purpose.
The types of art vary from pottery to visual art, even poetry. They say they're even using broken pieces of various items to put things together. It's a metaphor of what their lives are. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The women are also helping to grow flowers and food, which directors say will help them develop into a more healthy lifestyle. A new business just rolled into the area, bringing a new twist to the popular ice cream truck. Tasty Treats by Tab celebrated its opening day in Neon today, putting the Jenkins-based food truck on the road, rolling ice cream and preparing sweet treats for the community. Owner Tabitha Shipley says the idea came from her desire to bring more options to the mountains.
We do a lot of traveling with my work, and every time I go to Tennessee or, outside of Virginia, I always have to stop and get some rolled ice cream.
The truck also offers cotton candy, donuts, and more, with plans to travel a lot in the weeks to come. Volunteers from across the country have made their way to the mountains this month and continue to help with flood recovery. Nearly 1 year after the July 2022 flooding, Appalachian Service Project continues to invite folks in. Today, Nicholas Bartman and his group of volunteers from Michigan were in the Wayland community of Floyd County, and they have learned it is more than just about rebuilding.
We get a chance to step from our jobs each week and create a relationship between ourselves and God, and learn that it's more than just the relationships us. It's not about us. It's about other people. It's about our relationships with our youth, with our other leaders.
Bartman added that it feels great to see that they are making a difference. We'll have more from Wayland tonight at 11. A case of mistaken identity, not with people, but with houses. And it leads to thousands of dollars worth of repair costs for one homeowner in the Louisville area. A property owner was surprised when he found 3 people on his roof tearing it off, but he never ordered any of it. The bizarre mix-up has led to a tense back and forth between him and the contractor. David Ochoa has more.
Picture this. It's early in the morning and you're in bed. Suddenly you hear up on the housetop, click, click, click. Except it's not Santa Claus because it's the middle of July. Instead, it's workers tearing up your roof because they got the wrong house.
1598. That's the number on the front of Danny Hayes' rental house. His neighbor at 1596 was supposed to get some roofing work done last Tuesday. So when his tenants called him to tell him someone was on the roof, he thought they might be hearing things from next door.
When I come around the corner, I found the whole back half of the shingles gone, all laying on the ground, all spread out around the house.
Hayes saw 3 workers on his roof, tearing things up. He told them to stop the work they were doing, but the damage was done. This is what he says the roof looked like afterwards.
Fortunately, I have a contractor that I use for other jobs, and he was able to get over here, get the materials ordered that night and on the next morning because there was a rainstorm coming in the next day.
$9,991 is what it cost to fix the roof. Hayes was already planning to fix some minor damage from the recent windstorm, but not $10,000 worth of repairs. Now he wants the contractor to foot the bill.
Well, I'd just like him to pay it. That's all. It's a $9,900 bill that somebody needs to pay.
Hayes says he unsuccessfully tried calling JP Roofing and Construction twice, but was finally able to reach them on Monday. He says he was told a lawyer would call him. I called the roofing company to find out what happened, and they told me it was an honest mistake. The owner says the workers weren't his employees, just subcontractors who he uses. He claims he gave them the right address, and they just went to the wrong house.
Yeah, I understand mistakes happen, but, you know, simple things like knocking on the door would have helped. Let you know we're here, or introduce yourself, or say something.
The contractor told me they cleaned up everything and even offered to replace the roof, but claims Hayes said no. Hayes says that conversation never happened.
Either way, I'm not going to let somebody that I don't know if they're insured or what, up on my roof again. Why would I want to do that?
I asked the contractor if he wanted to go on camera and tell his side of the story, but he didn't want to. Hayes says this could all be resolved with a simple offer to pay for the repairs. Reporting in Louisville, David Ochoa, Wave News.
A Connecticut city is considering new noise ordinances after a pool party got out of control. The homeowner was not even involved except for renting out his pool. Mac Rosenberg has more from Milford.
Haystack Road looks just like any other nondescript suburban residential road. It's quiet, but on the night of June 24th, it wasn't. The homeowner took this video. He didn't want to be on camera, but says he used an app called Swimply to rent out his pool, which he's done many times in the past.
Little kids' birthday parties, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 9-year-old. And the other ones have been like a baby shower or like a Sweet 16, and then we had the big disaster.
He says this time he was completely fooled when the people booking the party told him it wouldn't be crowded or loud. Turns out it was advertised on social media, and the clients sold tickets and booze. More than 120 people showed up.
And if I would have known it was going to be like that, I would have never, ever hosted anything like that.
The homeowner has had more parties since, but nothing like June 24th, mainly birthday parties for young kids. Still, Milford officials are considering a new noise ordinance.
When you rent out a food truck and you get DJs and everything else, you know you're calling for a bash. And when you have apparently a considerable amount of alcohol, whatever's going on, it just was surprising.
Carolyn Butler has lived here for 30 years and was curious, so she downloaded an app to tell her just how loud the party was.
And my house was rocking with the windows closed inside. It was rocking at 80 to 90 decibels. And
The homeowner was given violations for running a commercial party and not getting permits.
That was Mac Rosenberg reporting. Authorities in Tennessee arrested a former firefighter for allegedly stealing life-saving equipment from a fire station. Police responded to a burglary at the station in Strawberry Plains yesterday. Strawberry Plains is about 15 miles east of downtown Knoxville. Firefighters were responding to a brush fire when they realized equipment had been taken from an engine and tanker.
I just can't wrap my head around it. I really can't. I just don't understand why somebody would steal from a fire department that use these equipment for life-saving tools. I mean, it could be their loved ones that was in a wreck.
The stolen equipment included power tools, chainsaws, fans, and a tool commonly known as the Jaws of Life. The total value of the items taken was between $60,000 and $80,000. Coming up on First at 4, UPS leaders say they are prepared to make a compromise as the strike deadline approaches.
And more showers and storms headed our way. Not just these about to cross Interstate 75. The details after this.